So let's dive right in and see what happens when we stop counting our losses. Once upon a time, there was a rich businessman who owned several shops. One day, he decided to leave his fortune to his sons after his death. But while he was still alive, he wanted to know who truly appreciated his hard work, so he came up with a plan. He announced that he would give all his wealth to the son who could keep a candle burning continuously for 7 days without letting it go out. He always tried to make their lives better, but one day, a sly advisor came up with a plan to trick the king. It's not always about counting profits or material gains, but also about the value of our actions and the impact they have on others. He told the king, "Your Majesty, I have a way to double the wealth of our kingdom and make everyone prosperous." Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your stories might inspire others to see the bigger picture in life. The king was delighted and asked, "Oh, please tell me what to do," the advisor said. "Let me put on a play in the market square, and you must be one of the spectators." On the day of the play, the king disguised himself and went to watch. The advisor had planned a series of events where certain people would pretend to be robbed and the king would be asked to return their lost items. The advisor explained that this would make the king seem like a generous ruler who cared for his people. However, what the advisor did and realized was that the king was actually quite wealthy and was motivated by money. He saw through the advisor's plan and realized it was just a way to make him look good for personal gain. So the king played along, but instead of giving back the stolen goods, he pretended to punish the thieves, making them work as street sweepers. When the advisor saw this, he panicked thinking the king had ruined his plan, but the king simply smiled. After the play ended, the king gathered everyone and said, "My friends, I am truly sorry for your losses, but I believe that true prosperity comes not from material possessions, but from living a righteous life." The crowd cheered and the king gained even more respect from his people. The first son was very confident. He thought it would be easy to keep the candle burning. But after just 2 days, he gave up. He couldn't figure out how to keep the candle burning without blowing it out or letting it fall over. Then the second son tried, but he also failed. Finally, it was the youngest son's turn. Unlike his brothers, the youngest son wasn't greedy. He knew that if he tried to beat his father's challenge, he might end up losing everything. But something else was on his mind. While his brothers were focused on keeping the candle burning, he noticed that their faces were illuminated by the flame. And he realized that maybe his father wanted them to reflect on their own inner light. So the youngest son did something unexpected. He closed his eyes, meditated, and prayed. Then on the 7th day, when everyone thought he had failed, he opened his eyes. For 7 long days, he didn't move, eat, or drink. People started to question if he was even alive. To everyone's surprise, the candle was still burning. Not only that, but the room was filled with light. The father was overjoyed. He understood that his youngest son had discovered something more valuable than wealth. He embraced his son and told him, "You found the real treasure. I'm so proud of you." And so the father gave his youngest son the greatest gift of all, his love and blessing. The story of the 3 sons teaches us that sometimes the things we think are important, like money or material possessions, can lead us astray. Instead, it's our inner qualities, like empathy, kindness, and love that truly matter. Here's another story about a king who also learned an important lesson about counting losses. Once upon a time, there was a kind and generous king who loved his people. These stories teach us that sometimes we need to step back and reflect on what truly matters in life. Now I want to ask you, have you ever had an experience where you realized that counting your losses didn't matter?